Well, hey, everyone, I want to introduce you to Jon Smoker and James Thomas. They're two men in our church, family men, leaders, and they're friends. And we're talking these days about relationships. Relationships matter. And these guys have a friendship, a relationship that matters. And guys, we talked last week about how initially, a relationship's almost like more discovered than built. You have that you two moment where you realize you both have similar interests or affinities. So what was the you two moment for you guys?
Yeah, so John and I first really met a little over probably 7 years ago. We were enrolled in a foundations class hosted by Willowdale. It was a marriage course for newly married, less than 5 years couples to really set the foundation for a marriage. And in that group, both of our wives were already friends with one another, and I think maybe schemed that we were going to be friends whether we knew it or not. And so that was kind of the push into meeting each other, but we shared a lot of similarities. We were at a similar age, similar station in life with young children. Over the years, we've welcomed more children to both of our families and have got to really go through life together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. The foundation group was definitely key. Being in that group dynamic helped us to open up and share more of our stories. And that's where, like James said, we found a lot of our U2 moments. It's hard to pick just one since we were, again, going through the same stage of life, family, marriage. We found out, we had work similarities. So it was a bunch together.
Yeah. And I hear you both like football, although not the same team. So, James, you're an Eagles guy, like you should be. John, what's your problem?
Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. We'll leave it at that. Thanks.
All right. Interview's over. You guys meet, you're in an environment that's kind of calling vulnerability out of you, right? Because you're going to be talking about real life stuff with marriage and family. But surely your trust has grown over the years. And how so? How would you describe it?
Yeah, honestly, living life together. Since we were kind of in the same stage of life when we first met, early marriage, just starting kids, it was easy to really grasp that fatherhood aspect of our relationship. Mm-hmm. So to see James interact with his kids as they're coming along in years and interacting with my kids and all together, it was really important to see how he handled that, and so it really helped with trusting him more and just being able to talk more about deeper things.
Yeah, and I think for me, I've always been kind of a guarded person. I don't let a lot of people in quickly. And part of what's been really great with our friendship is seeing John kind of role model vulnerability and show that, you can be vulnerable and you can share these things. It has helped me to be more vulnerable. And, I'm a firm believer that once you have that vulnerability, you can then have trust and grow that trust with one another. So it's been really great, not only for our own friendship, but I think it's helped me to grow as a father, as a man, to have that vulnerability and trust with others.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say to people who, in this last year, probably all of our relational worlds have shrunk, not only because of the pandemic, but because of all the divisive issues in our world. And any number of us might be thinking like, you know what, all I need is my household. I got my family. That's all I need. Relationships are too complicated. They're just not worth it. What would you say to people who might have a little bit of that feeling these days?
Yeah. We're not made to go through this life alone. We need support. We need to know and have a way to defeat the lie that we're the only one going through something, that we can handle our own. We don't need anybody else. So to have that support with friends and family, whoever you have the relationships with, it's a necessity to be able to get through things that normally you wouldn't be able to get through on your own.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think, this past year was more challenging than probably any year most of us have experienced for probably a unique reason for all of us. And in that, we kind of turned inward. And what can be challenging is when we just rely on our own family or our own circle. I look to my wife for support, and I know that I can't always burden her with every single thing, that I need to be able to reach out to friends and fellowship and talk through things. And so to be able to push yourself out of your comfort zone, I know it's something that I have to work on to be intentional about, is to really force myself to reach out and to look for things. John's comes much easier for him. He's really good at sending that text and saying, hey, where have you been? It's been a few weeks. It's been a month. What's going on? It doesn't always have to be a deep conversation about what's going on in life. It can just be like, hey, how are the kids? How's work? Hopes the Cowboys don't do well this year.
Well, no, that's good. And men, women, younger, older, go to our website, look at the ministries of our church and all the groups, and there's contact information there. Nobody should be going it alone, especially in this season. So, hey, guys, thanks so much just for not only being friends to one another, but for modeling it and sharing a little of your story with us. I appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you.